Double T 97.3, the Double T 97.3 mobile app. Andreas Flores, Jeff McGuire, Zach Sparkman is here today. 75044 is the number of the Schlotsky's text line if you'd like to join us here as we transition now to some Major League Baseball talk. We'll get back into the Red Raider college football talk as the preseason Big 12 1 through 10 was announced earlier this week. We'll touch on that in just a bit. But with the trade deadline coming up, Jeff McGuire, about 17 days away from right now, wanted to play this game, or at least just discussion, I should say, get all of us involved. Sparkman, if you want to join in as well. You're familiar with Deal or No Deal, correct?
Yes.
That show long time ago, it seems like.
Well, it's still on. It's just a different reincarnation of it now.
Is Howie Mandel still the guy? Host?
Surely not.
No.
I mean, I didn't even know. Yeah, it was.
Maybe?
I thought I, maybe stumbled across what I thought were like reruns on like
With the Game Show Network or something like that?
GSN or, like maybe even like more obscure than that, like MSNBC or something like that. But yeah, I remember, watching that back in the day. Yeah, like 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. So I guess we can all agree Machado probably the biggest name out there, pitcher or position player coming up for this trade deadline, or do you have another player? Machado's the biggest, right?
I would, especially with the year he's having, it seems there's maybe kind of some growing reports that the Nationals might look to deal Bryce Harper, but with the year he's having, it's
not good.
I mean, in name alone, Bryce Harper might be a bigger name, but a bigger piece to add, especially this season, would be Manny Machado.
Yeah, for me, if Machado does not go to New York, I hope he goes somewhere into the National League and lost forever. Okay, here we go. I'm going to throw you a deal.
No, I'm thinking maybe Hap. Maybe.
Biggest,
because
though?
he's a pitcher. Like, I think you might get the biggest deal for him.
In terms of prospects back.
In terms of prospects back, because of him being a pitcher and somebody needing one pitcher to get them over the hump to catch the Yankees or the Red Sox, if that makes sense. Position players are not as valued as pitchers are.
Yeah, I agree with that, but Machado makes you a contender.
Hap would be the only guy I would put in that conversation, other than Machado.
All right, so here it is. I'm going to give you the deal, and I want you to play as the GM. Are you making the deal, or is this no deal for you? So the first one up, the Arizona Diamondbacks acquire shortstop Manny Machado from the Baltimore Orioles. The Diamondbacks have Nick Ahmed and Jay Clam at third and short. They're hitting under 250. Machado plays both those positions. However, it'll be a heavy package headlined by the Diamondbacks' top prospect, Pavin Smith. Diamondbacks leading the West by half a game in a winnable division, and they're kind of in a win-now situation, knowing that they'll lose Pollock and Goldschmidt eventually, and Corbin as well. So deal or no deal, Diamondbacks getting Manny Machado.
Man, that's close. If you came up with this, that's really good. That's close. If you stole it from somewhere, whoever you stole it from, well done. I don't think I make that move.
No deal for Jeff.
I don't, and it's close, because you're trading two major league guys for one, which means you're filling another hole with a minor league guy. I don't know that benefit, especially when you're trading minor league guys to get him, I don't know that you're getting enough. I think you're giving up too much to get him on a rental.
I say deal, because you are in a win-now situation for the Diamondbacks. And the Dodgers are still going to be there. They're not going away. They may be a half game now, but they're still going to be good once it comes September and October. So if the Diamondbacks are serious about winning and competing, they got to go make this deal. Sparky.
I agree. I think now you weren't trading both the shortstop and the third baseman.
I was just telling you who they were.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought.
They're not talking.
You were trading both of them.
You don't have to. They can be in the trade. I'm just
because that's what I took. Is just you're letting whose spot he would be taking. They could do with one, which I think it would be best for Machado defensively to go back to third, because his, which I don't understand the defensive metrics super great, but the ones I do understand point him as being not very good at shortstop this year, which I don't know how, determined he is to play short, but I think if as the Diamondback, if you can find a deal you can live with, I think with the NL being pretty open, I mean, the Braves are young. They're a year, maybe even two ahead of schedule. The NL Central, Brewers, I think the Brewers are leading the division. So the NL seems very winnable. The Dodgers are kind of coming around, but they're still, obviously, like you said, they're trailing Arizona. So I think to either try to hold off the Dodgers, hold on to a wild card spot, whatever, if you can get in the playoffs and especially win that division where it's not just a one-game kind of fluke deal, you can make a run here. You've got Zach Greinke, who's having not a great season, but a really good season. Pollock, Goldschmidt. If they could have kept JD Martinez. Now, I mean, him playing DH boosts, kind of, he's not a great defender, but I think if you're Arizona, you can find a deal you can live with. I think you should absolutely pull the trigger.
All right. Moving on. Next one. Let me tell you the deal first, the reasoning behind it, and then you answer. So, number 2, the Philadelphia Phillies acquire third baseman Adrian Beltre from the Texas Rangers. Beltre, a future Hall of Famer, provides veteran leadership to this young Phillies team. However, he's 39 years old. He's missed significant time due to injury. He's old and impending free agency. Deal or no deal? Phillies acquiring Adrian Beltre.
What are they giving up? That's the catch.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably what the discussion in John Daniels' office is regarding how high they view Beltre in the locker room and what he brings to the clubhouse and what he brings to the team and what he brings on the field versus what they're going to get back. And Beltre saying he wants to come back to Texas no matter what happens. Hey, that's great. I think the Rangers would give him an opportunity to do that, but that's also really easily said now when you're not at the end of a gun looking at somebody else making you a better offer. So if I'm the Phillies, I trade for him because I think he can bring you a bat in your lineup. He gives you a better defensive third baseman than what you've got, even when he can't. Even when he hasn't been as healthy, you can still use him in a lot of different situations. He is a phenomenal clubhouse guy. He is a phenomenal leadership guy in your clubhouse. And the Phillies are a young team. You can use that kind of benefit in a locker room like that. So, assuming it's not their number 1 and number 2 prospects to go get Adrian Beltre on a rental, I'm making that deal.
I'd say no deal mainly because of the age of Adrian Beltre. Now, the Phillies are not out of the Machado talks. I mean, they're not probably the front runner. I think Milwaukee may be the front runner. They're not out of it. But and there's also, I bet you, some other third base prospects. Not prospects, but just players around the league that you can pick and choose from. I think not Nunez, but the guy from Minnesota, his name's been popping up for trade bait as well. So I'll say no deal.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I think the Rangers might view Beltre or might want more for him than maybe other teams are willing to give up. So that could be, but let's say the Rangers get a package they like. I would then kind of be hesitant as a Phillies, not that I am a Phillies fan, but if I were a Phillies fan, I might, or GM, be hesitant to, because he's played a lot more DH this year, just trying to keep his legs under him and keep him healthy. So for him to be at third base every day, his defense when he's out there is still phenomenal. And I love Adrian Beltre, but the injury issues he's had the last 2, and he was mostly healthy in 2016, but he missed some time then too. But the last 2 years especially, just it's enough to be concerned. But when he is healthy and he gives you a great bat and great defense at third, and great leadership, it would be all 3 things the Phillies could use and need. But it's a gamble, so I don't know it. And what do the Phillies? What do they have at third base?
Garbage.
Franco.
Garbage is the answer you're looking for there. That is their biggest hole is third base.
So I think I might say deal just because the NL East is a very winnable division with the Nationals disappointing like they have. It's kind of between the Phillies and the Braves, 2 surprise teams. So make that move. If nothing else, it's great locker room guy to show this younger guys kind of what it takes to be a pro moving forward, and that could last longer than just this 1-year pennant run.
A few more here on the Sunday Sports Blitz. 75044, the number of the Schlosky's text line. Love to hear your thoughts as well. The Atlanta Braves acquire third baseman Mike Moustakas from the Kansas City Royals. The Braves, a surprise contender in the East. They could shore up their third base. Moustakas on the year, 19 home runs, 58 runs batted in. However, he's hitting .253. But Moustakas, he's been tested at the big level. He's won a World Series. He could be help that young Atlanta Braves team with their inexperienced squad as they look to make that run. So the Braves acquiring Mike Moustakas.
I'm out. I am not. I feel like the Braves are kind of a year ahead than what is projected for them. I don't know that I'm giving up. Like, if Machado, if I was the Braves, I'd be working hard on that. Yeah, I would even consider Beltre to some extent if I could give up, I don't want to say minimal prospects, but your 15 to 20 guys.
So you're saying the Royals are going to ask for a lot for Moustakas?
I'm saying that I would rather have those two guys than Moustakas. He's the third baseman in this list that I would go after. And if I'm going to make a move at third a year ahead, it's going to have to be Astros getting Verlander. It's going to be having to be somebody that is an immediate boom. We're rocking and rolling right here, and now we're vastly better, as opposed to, okay, well, we're better, but what did it cost us when we're already a year ahead?
I'm going to say deal. I like this move. I like Moustakas going there. He's kind of flirted at first base this season, first base, third base. He's probably a better third baseman, and the Braves right now have nobody at third base. And you throw him in that lineup with those young guys and Freddie Freeman, I think it could turn into something great for them in the postseason. Sparky, quickly.
I think I'm out. I think, like Jeff said, being a year ahead, I'd be hesitant to deal for anyone. Continue to get those pieces, in the minor leagues, continue to build, because you've got a good chance to win the division this year anyway. A World Series run is probably a reach. So keep that farm system intact, and maybe next year go out and get a big piece if you need to kind of make a World Series push with Acuna and that other, forget his name, a year.
Albies.
Yes.
All right, we can move on here. A couple more deals that we were doing earlier. Deal or no deal on these trades. If you're the general manager, the Houston Astros acquire left-handed pitcher Brad Hand from San Diego. Houston bullpen right now only really one left-hander, Tony Sipp. They're trying to defend the title. You mentioned earlier has not happened since 99-2000. And Hand's contract runs through 2001 with the team option. Are you taking that deal?
I don't know. He's the guy I'm going after. I'd have to look at the reliever. I haven't done a whole lot of digging in the reliever market, except that the Rangers have one that you could trade out. But I don't know. He could go to he can go to the Astros. He could go to the Yankees. He could go to Boston. He can go. One of the things about relievers at this point, if you've got a decent one on a bad team, they are the goose that laid the golden egg, because everybody's looking for a reliever at this point in the year if you're in contention. I don't know. I would have to know more, or I'd have to look into that.
I say deal. I'll make that deal if I'm the Astros. You need help on the left side in the bullpen.
Well, yeah, if you're going to ask me if just generic, are they going to trade for a bullpen piece? Yes.
But I'm saying,
but I don't know that it's going to be that specific piece. If that's the piece, that there wouldn't necessarily be a better one.
Brad Hand, 24 saves, 13.2 strikeouts per 9 innings. Sparkman, are you making that deal or no deal?
Give me no deal, I think. And I think maybe part of that's just Brad Hand isn't your typical, like he has really kind of played better here in the last couple of seasons, but wasn't. I remember seeing the Rangers rough him up a couple of years ago, a couple of times. So that's just kind of the stigma around Brad Hand. If Brad Hand were to change his name to Cole Hamels, another guy being floated out there and posting kind of similar stuff, then might do it. But I don't think I would bite, but it'd be something to think about.
Deal or no deal, Milwaukee acquires right-handed pitcher Jacob deGrom from the New York Mets. The Brewers hanging around in the Central. They've had a lead at times. They're still in the Manny Machado talks, but if that does not happen, deGrom, if the Mets want to trade deGrom, I'm sure there'll be a system-gutting package that the Brewers will have to send the Mets' way. So I'm going no deal. I think if you're the Brewers, focus on Machado. He helps your pitching staff playing defense as well and hitting. So I'll try to stick with the Machado talk. So I'm going to go no deal with the Brewers and deGrom.
Do you know how much, because with the Yankees being interested, have you seen how many more years of control does deGrom, is he under before
under
free
contract
agency?
till 2020.
So you get him
3 postseasons. I
think that, because kind of like what you saw with the Rangers and Cole Hamels, you knew you had him for, multiple seasons. So it's worth, the 6-player package the Rangers gave up, and not to mention Jake Diekman they got. So I think if Milwaukee could get a deal like that, I think I'm not real, they've got a handful of Rangers players from that Lucroy and another trade. So Luis Ortiz was a highly thought of Rangers pitcher, deal him, and Ryan Cordell, actually, I think he might have got sent in another package, maybe to the White Sox even. Lewis Brinson also no longer with them, but I think it's something to think about because DeGrom's having a fantastic season. Like at one point, he had an ERA of like 1.2 and was 0-1 in like a 10 start span. So he's been fantastic. Not switching from NL to AL would likely keep that momentum churning, just because you never know with making that switch, which is always so weird to me. But I think I might do it. I'm not sure the Brewers farm system, what they'd have to give up, but I mean DeGrom, that's an ace right there.
Jeff, let me ask you a separate one before we get out of here. Rangers trading Cole Hamels to a division rival, either the A's or the Mariners. Deal or no deal?
Deal. If you get the right package back, and it's going to be top 15 guy in your farm system that you're getting back.
So no problem trading within the division.
No problem whatsoever.